Experimental emergency protocol, Hardrick says. What in the blazes is that supposed to? A deafening silence fills the area around me as the sound of Hardrick's voice, as well as the wind from the storm and all the shouting from the rebels fighting the drones, fade away completely. As I look around myself to understand what's happening, I see that the whole world surrounding me has simply disappeared. I'm currently floating in what appears to be a sea of pure light with none of my... Sea of pure light? It must be blinding. I'm currently floating in what appears to be a sea of pure light with none of my friends being anywhere near me. Well, it's a sea of pure light, so it doesn't necessarily have to be above him. It can be below him. Because it's a sea, it's not like a void filled with light. It's like a sea, so it must be dark above him, and below him it must be just like white. With none of my friends being anywhere near me. In fact, upon closer inspection of my surroundings, I realized that it is not only my friends, the world who are gone, but also my own person. When I look down, I see no body, no arms, no legs, no torso. What about my head? The brightness of this place is almost blinding me, so logically speaking, I must still have my eyes, right? But does that mean I'm just a floating head drifting about in vast plain? In this vast plain filled with nothing but light. What about my breathing? I can't hear myself inhaling or exhaling. Have I been holding my breath this entire time? Should I start breathing? So I don't die of asphyxiation? My mind feels like a jumbled mess right now. I have no idea what to do. Well, we should check out our surroundings, so I suppose attempt to breathe. Try to breathe in some air, but it feels as if my airways are completely blocked. When I realize that I can't breathe at all, I begin to panic and automatically try to inhale harder and faster. The more I attempt to breathe, the more painful it feels. It's as if my non-existent body was suddenly reminded that breathing was a necessary element of its survival, but it does no longer remember what it needs to make it work. As I keep struggling to inhale and exhale, I can feel my mind gradually blanking out until my consciousness eventually fades away. Well, that's a problem. I'll be back. Don't attempt to breathe this time. I just need to calm down and think things through. I don't have a body right now, so there are no lungs for the air to go into. If I'm still alive, then it means... I thought, breathing would be the last, sense of control that we could have. That's why I went for breathing. But I suppose not. I just need to calm down and think things through. I don't have a body right now, so there are no lungs for the air to go into. If I'm still alive, then it means that I don't need to breathe. In fact, is there even any air in here? What is this place exactly? Somehow it looks very familiar. As my mind is slowly clearing up from the haze that has been in this whole time, I suddenly remember the sensation that I had back when Magium was possessing the Overseer, flinging my consciousness through all the separate planes of existence. I'm guessing that's the Overseer got his hands on, what's it called? He figured out how to use the crystals a little bit more efficiently. Held back when Magium was possessing the Overseer, flinging my consciousness through all separate planes of existence, including the ethereal plane. Now I get it, this is the ethereal plane. This is why it seems so familiar. It's because I had been here before. How in the world did I end up here anyway? And where is everybody else? Did the Overseer's drone somehow throw them out in this wasteland too? Did they do it using the blue crystals? I need to get away from here and find my friends. If only I could somehow move somehow. If only I at least had some hands. Right as I was thinking the last words, two hands materialized in front of me out of nowhere. I tried to move the two hands and realized that I have complete control over them, as if they were my own, even if the rest of the body is still missing. What just happened? Is this how things work around here? Is it enough for me to make a wish and it comes true? If that's how it goes, then I want legs too. Give me legs. I wait around for a little while, but nothing happens. Did I make the wish wrong? Let me try it again. I wish to have my legs and the rest of my body back. Actually, give me my body back. Again, nothing. This isn't working. Maybe I should just give up for now and try to make do with what I have. I only have my hands, not my entire arms, but I should still be able to use them to get some use out of them, right? As I instinctively do a swimming motion with my hands, I can feel myself advancing through the light, although there aren't really any points of reference around here, so there's no way for me to confirm my traveling speed, right? There's no dust or nothing, so there's literally no way to tell. I keep swimming through the bright empty space for a few more minutes until I hear a girl's voice calling out to me from a distance. Barry, is that you? I hear Flower's voice faintly as she's approaching me. Wait there, don't move, I'm coming for you. When Flower gets closer to me, I see that her eyes are bright red, just like that time when she fought Aiden before we got into Thelius, and the aura around her body feels as if as if were radiating heat. Wow, Barry, you managed to conjure some hands to yourself. For yourself, Flower says when she reaches me. That's so cool. Forget my hands, I say. What happened to your eyes? And your whole aura feels like it's burning up. Are you okay? Oh, you don't need to worry about that, Flower says. That's just how I am now. She then snaps her fingers and her whole body suddenly becomes covered in flames, even though upon closer inspection, the fire seems to be floating around 1 inch above her skin rather than burning her outright. See, Flower says, and then she casually turns off the flame as if it were the most natural thing to do. Okay, I tell her, if you say so. Wait, how come you have your whole body and I don't? What am I doing wrong? I don't know, Flower says. I've been living here since I was born, so there was never a time when I didn't have a body in the ethereal plane. If you want to conjure a body for yourself, maybe you just need to think harder or something. It's easy to create stuff out of nothing in this plane. Look. She then points a hand in an empty area in front of her, and she makes a palm tree appear out of nowhere. The palm tree then turns into a card, and the card soon turns into a large rock. As soon as she is done with her demonstration, Flower claps her hands once, and the rock disappears into thin air. What the? That's amazing, I say. You'll teach me how to do that? I'm not sure, Flower says. Petal always told me that I'm not exactly the best at teaching things to others. I'm not exactly sure how to make this any clearer to you than I already have. For me, this is just something natural. So she's like a... what's it called? She's not a wizard. She's a sorcerer, I guess. And I'm not exactly sure how to make this any clearer to you than I already have. For me, this is just something natural, you know. Maybe it's just an advantage of being an ethereal. Anyway, we shouldn't stay out here for too long. It's not good for you. Follow me. I'll take you to my house. Layla and Hardrick are already waiting there for you. And Petal too, here, grab my hand. She then takes my hand without waiting for my answer, and her whole body gets covered in flames again, which surprisingly didn't feel like they're burning me, even though they should. I then feel myself vibrating loudly as a white light of a different color than the one I've been swimming through covers us both. We get teleported to an entirely different place. Barry, you're still alive. I hear Layla's inner voice, which I already know from the last time she and I were together to the sent to the ethereal plane together. Thank goodness. I look around myself and see that we are now inside a room full of toys and countless decoration like mural paintings of knights and dragons, as well as a table on which there is an expensive-looking vase with a few tulips in it. Layla and Hardrick are both standing in front of me, but I'm not seeing Illuna yet. Maybe she's in another room. See, Layla, Flower says, I told you that there would be nothing to worry about. Barry is fine. He didn't do anything stupid like trying to breathe without his lungs. Was that about me trying to breathe? I say somewhat anxiously. Oh, Flower says, when I brought Layla here, I told her that most people who get thrown out of their own minds and step into the light outside should be in a state of daze, mostly just floating around indefinitely until someone finds them, and that the only way they could die would be they tried to breathe, because then they'd suddenly find themselves with the need to breathe fresh air into their lungs, but without having any actual lungs or air. When she heard about this, Layla immediately panicked, and she told me that you're exactly the type of person who overthink things in this sort of situation to the point that you may as well end up dying of suffocation. We did, because I was overthinking things. But you never tried to do any of that, did you, Barry? Well, actually, I say, I may have been only a few moments away from trying to breathe at one point. The only thing that saved me from the fact that I realized that there is no way I could need air to survive in this place if I had already survived without breathing for so long. I knew it. I heard Layla's thought as her mouth remained closed. Even when we were almost being erased from existence, he was doing the same thing. He almost didn't grab my hand because he was worried that I might have been an illusion trying to trick him. Hardrick laughs. Well, that's Barry for you, he says. He always finds a way to turn even the most trivial of situations into life-threatening adventures. But I have to say, it's still hard to accustom myself to hearing Layla's voice instead of seeing her write text in front of me. Barry, you've already heard her voice before, right? Yeah, I heard it the last time when we went to the ethereal plane. And hold on a minute, why am I the only one here with a pair of floating hands? How did you guys get your bodies back so fast? I'm the one who taught them how to do it. I hear an unfamiliar female voice coming from my left side. When I turn around, I see a woman that looks as if she were in her late 20s with blue eyes, blue hair, pointy ears, wearing a blue dress, who is of about my height, even though her appearance is a lot different from what I'm used to, and the serious look in her eyes and her constant frown is almost unmistakable. Is that Illuna? Illuna, is that you? Hey, you look pretty good for an elf spirit that is several hundred years old. I was right, your blue eyes really do make you look fat. Illuna, is that you? Were you perhaps expecting someone else? Illuna says, maybe with red hair and no shoes. Well, I mean, yeah, kind of, I say. After seeing you like that for so long, it's a little hard to imagine you as anything other than flower with blue eyes.